welcome to beautiful Malibu, California.
Home to the rich and famous and the bourbon van for a couple days.
Just for a couple of days, yeah. So this is the official start of our Interstate 10 highway trip, which we pretty much planned specifically to escape winter, number one, and number two, because we've never spent much time in Southern California, Arizona, New Mexico. It's time for us to check out what's going on in the rest of the country, because we spent a lot of time in Oregon last year, which was great. We love our home state, but now it's time to check out some new places, and some new whiskeys are along for the ride. We're pretty excited about that. What we're drinking today are 3 samples from Old Elk Distillery of Colorado. So these are from Old Elk. We are under no obligation to say anything nice or not nice about them. We're just going to taste them, and we're going to let you know which one we prefer overall, right?
Yeah, I'm excited to try all 3 iterations, and I'm sure I'm going to like all 3 of them.
The one whiskey you're not going to see here is Old Elk's bourbon, just their straight up bourbon. We already have a review of Old Elk bourbon on the channel, so we're just going to taste these while we're discussing something that we like to talk about this time of year, which is our favorite adventures of 2023. That was the previous year. For those of you that are just joining us, you may be watching this from who knows what year.
I like this. 3 whiskeys, 3 adventures.
Let's get started. We're kicking things off. Julie's nosing right now the Old Elk Rye. This is a 100 proof whiskey, aged for 5 years.
So far from the nose, it's nice and oaky. There's a little bit of rye spice in there. At first I was just like, this smells really delicious. Then you said it was a rye, and I'm like, probably gonna like this one.
Probably are, yeah. And I have to say, on the nose, the first thing that I got was a ton of oak. Again, not something that you always get on a rye whiskey. Not too bad.
First sip, there's nice flavor. There's good oakiness, a little bit of caramel. There's a baby hint of spice. This is one that I could be confused at if this was a 5-sip Friday. It tastes pretty bourbon-y to me, but there's just a little kick of rye spice on the finish, which is pretty nice, pretty lovely.
I found some cherry on the nose and then some lemon on the palate, like the little lemon drop candies, that sort of thing. I like that. It finishes, I thought it finished sweet. Here comes a little spice.
Yeah.
That's pretty good right there. I like this whiskey a lot, actually.
It's got a nice proof point too. Like, it's just a really nice little baby hug, but the heat is really nice. It's a beautiful evening tonight, probably like around 65 degrees, which is why we're here.
Baby hug. Coat's nice, smells great, finish is very lovely. Love the palate. Very solid whiskey. This is great. Well, while we continue to sip this rye, I think it's time to talk 2023 top adventures for the bourbon van. Something hanging off my hat here. Number 3. What would that be for you?
So we kicked off the year with something that we've never done before, which is a relay race. Actually, you did a relay race in the past. It was my first time. Plum crazy. If you don't remember, we were on the coast and we ran. I'm not really sure where we started, but we ended up in Coos Bay, Oregon on the coast.
It was Roseburg to Coos Bay, 62 total miles, 13-ish miles per person on the team. And it was an absolute blast. It was way more fun than I expected.
Yeah, I think the reason that it stands out to me so much is that I pretty much gave up on running for the last 2 years. I mean, literally gave up on it. And a friend of ours reached out and said, I think this could be really fun. And we're like, we're game. And we had such a blast. We had such a fun team. There was 5 of us. It was beautiful country.
The people made the difference, for sure.
The people made the difference. And we camped that weekend. It was just all around a really great time. I think it was April of 2023. Yep. So it was basically the start of, we're done with winter, let's get on with spring and summer. It was a good way to kick off the year.
Yeah, camping on the coast in Coos Bay on another very lovely campground right on the water. We couldn't ask for much more than that. It was the perfect kickoff to our activities for the year, because to that point it had been pretty cold. We hadn't gotten out much, but what a fantastic way to start. That was really fun. Now, let's get on to some wheated bourbon. This is the Old Elk Wheated Bourbon, 92 proof. This one is non-age stated, so they don't want to tell you about this one.
It does smell a bit funky. There's some farminess to this one for sure. You can tell it's a wheater. I mean, I'm not sure if I would have picked that up. Maybe that's subliminal, but I would have picked up the funkiness for sure.
On our 5-Sip Fridays, people have given us some barrel strength single barrels of Old Elk's wheated bourbon, and we've liked it a ton. What we've generally found is a bunch of milk chocolate, a little bit of vanilla, and a lot of really dry oak. So I'm curious if we're going to find that on this 92 proofer here.
First off, I want to say it does drink a little bit thin, but it is 92 proof. You do get a little bit of farminess. You do get that oakiness there. I think the flavors are really nice. I can tell already I like the other one better than this,
really?
just after 2 sips. You know, Wheaters are kind of hit or miss for me too. I mean, you're not the biggest fan of Wheaters.
Sure.
I kind of like them more than I don't. This one I'm gonna need to try a few more sips of to,
On the fence so
to
far.
get a definitive on this one.
Fair enough. I love the legs on the glass. I love the way that it coats. There is a dry wood sort of
Yeah.
basement paneling from the Midwest that I actually really like. I like that note. It is a hint of bitterness, but not a bad way. I think it offsets that sweetness. I do think I like it at 92 proof, but I can see why I liked it more at barrel strength, because I do think it's a very nice little sipper, something we can enjoy at sunset here in Malibu. But I'm with you. I liked the rye better.
Yeah, and on this sip, I liked this a ton better than my first 2 sips. I got a little bit of nuttiness there.
I'll try it again,
I
too,
got a
then.
little bit of cinnamon, almost like cinnamon candy on it. So it is an interesting drink. You gotta like that little hint of farminess, that little bit of wheat to really enjoy this one.
Yeah.
But I agree, like I feel like it could have a couple additional proof points,
Yeah.
but it seems like a real easygoing sipper.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that funky barnyard type of thing
Yeah.
happening here that I actually am enjoying. I would say that I prefer this to most wheaters, particularly lower proof wheaters that we've tried. So Old Elk Wheated Bourbon, very well done.
All right. Oh, that takes us to number 2 adventure.
Oh yeah.
So coming in at number 2, it is our weekend at the dunes. And what I think makes this one especially special is not only the people that we went with, but we were planning on going to the Redwoods, had planned it for a whole year in advance. Smoke season happened, the campground we were going got closed down. We had no idea what to do. Our friend just out of the blue said, here's a campground on the coast, let's give it a shot. And it was the most spectacular weekend. To be perfectly honest, I did not know dunes like that existed in Oregon. Like, of course, there's beaches, there's the coast, but it was like miles and miles of dunes, of sand. You could just get lost, but we just ran, we hiked, we went to the coast. It was sunny, the stars were out. It was just a really perfect weekend.
Yeah, you couldn't actually get to the beach that we went to without
Hiking
traversing.
2 miles.
Yeah, 2 miles across the dunes was what you had to traverse. On the way back, we just started running and running and running, and we felt like kids. I haven't honestly felt that excited to run in so long, and it really was one of those rejuvenating weekends where people always talk about, oh, I went away for the weekend, and I came back more tired than I started. That wasn't this. We felt so rejuvenated, and we both immediately got into race mode, started training more, started running more, and it all started with that weekend at the dunes.
Ooh, this one smells different.
Do you like the smell of this one?
It smells kind of malty.
Okay.
It's definitely oaky,
Oh, that's fun.
a little smoky.
Okay.
Am I close? What are we drinking?
You're getting a lot of different things here. This is Old Elk, and I don't expect to like this one.
Okay.
Wheat whiskey.
Oh, it's another wheater.
So it changed the mash bill a little bit. 100 proof, and this one does have an age statement of 5 years.
it is funky smelling.
Yeah, wheaters generally to me are grassy, overly funky, not something that I'm all that crazy about generally. But I like the look of this one, and I've liked everything I've had so far, even the wheated bourbon, which makes me think that maybe I will like this one.
I think you're gonna like this one more than you think you're gonna like this one.
You made a face. I wasn't sure if you were going to like this one.
Well,
Was that a, I'm not sure, oh no, I do like it face?
well, the nose has a bit of a medicinal smell to it, so
Okay.
almost like I'm gonna say cough syrupy, but not like cherry cough syrup where you're like, ooh, I recognize that, but like something a little bit more antiseptic about it. But then the flavors of it actually are really interesting. I just want to see what you think about it.
There is a little bit of a, not aloe, but some sort of green leafy thing happening on the nose here. All
And I
right.
give like
I'll
weird.
try it. I'll try it.
Yeah, I'm giving like weird notes, but that doesn't mean I like them or don't like them. I'm just telling you what I'm thinking in the moment. It's a little bit of a ride.
Yeah, there's something really vegetal about it, but not in a bad way. It is super flavorful.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on there and very cohesive. It's actually hard for me to pin down the flavors I'm getting. You said something similar. It's consistent and it stays consistent from the nose to the palate to the finish. It's sweet, it's vegetal.
It almost
There is
tastes
some-
dirty. That sounds bad, but like dirt, like the
Little
vegetal.
earth, yeah.
Like what you're talking about. Like there's something about it. Like this feels like a fresh grown crop almost. Sweet.
The cherry note that I'm getting is not black cherry. It's really more, it's almost maraschino cherry. That is surprisingly good. And maybe I had preconceived notions,
Yeah.
but this one is actually so flavorful that it's standing up on my palate. I'm enjoying the heck out of that whiskey. I think give me some more of this. This is great.
I think this is the richer of the three that we've had.
It does coat great.
It coats really nice. I think it's got a really nice mouthfeel. It sticks around. The finish sticks around. So for that, I think number 3 probably has the most all-around interesting flavors, and the mouthfeel is all there.
While we're continuing to sip, why don't you tell us what our number 1 adventure of 2023 was?
So we agree on this, that our number 1 adventure...
We agree on all these.
Yeah, that's true. Our number 1 adventure was riding the rim at Crater Lake.
30-some miles with thousands of feet of elevation gain and loss, which was really fun. Pedaling all around the lake and kind of working hard on it. It was not an easy thing to do, and we planned to camp, but unfortunately we had to fly home to Chicago. Literally, we drove home that same night that we finished it. Then we got on a plane first thing in the next morning. So we had no time to rest, no time to really think about what we'd done until we got back and looked at the footage and realized just how much fun we had that day. They do say that with something like that, with that kind of effort, you get done and go, I'm never doing this again. And then you look back a week later and you go, I can't wait to do that again.
I feel that.
That kind of happened to us on this one.
So I think this was my harebrained idea to ride the rim of Crater Lake. It ended up being such a beautiful time, and it was kind of even more special. My grandma had passed away. We had to go back to Chicago a few days later. And one of my best memories is when she visited with my folks and we went to Crater Lake. I think she was 90 at the time, and she had come, and she had such joy looking at Crater Lake. And I felt that the entire ride. So as hard as it was, all the elevation we weren't prepared for, I kept that in mind, but what a special day that was, and I think that's probably why it topped my number 1 as well.
It was a very special day, and these are some special whiskeys, and we have to pick a favorite now, so we're going to deliberate on this. In the meantime, we went for a run in the hills here earlier today, and we wound up at a seafood restaurant, and you're going to take a look at that right now. If you don't want to see all that stuff, chapters are enabled for this video. You can skip ahead to see what we chose, but in the meantime, enjoy this run.
It is perfect weather today, so we're gonna hit the trails, go for a run, and get some fish tacos. Let's get fish tacos!
How good was your fish at that restaurant?
I don't even really like fish all that much.
You don't like it at all.
But I kept thinking, like, we're in California, we literally can't get closer to the coast. We've had multiple people tell us we had to go to this fish restaurant. We went there, I was like, I'm gonna go for it, and if I don't like it, Phil, just eat it for me. So I got fish and chips. It was dynamite. Like, even the French fries were probably the best French fries. And I have to say, I was expecting it to cost an arm and a leg, and the prices here are more affordable than back home. And
Yeah,
for
very
that, I'm a
reasonable.
little bit irritated, but excited.
Absolutely. Well, my fish tacos were absolutely amazing, and I'm going to go back there tomorrow because I saw they had shrimp tacos, and I want more. That
Yeah.
was delicious. Meanwhile, time to choose our favorite Old Elk whiskey of the day, and we agree on
Yeah.
all 3 spots here.
Coming in at number 1 is glass number 3 that we sipped today, which is the Old Elk Wheat 100 proof 5 years.
Wheat
A wheat
whiskey.
whiskey coming in number 1.
I honestly never thought I'd see the day, but here it is. We both chose it as number 1. We love the mouthfeel on that. We love the flavor profile. It's interesting, and at 100 proof, it sips very easy, but it's still super satisfying. Coats the glass, coats your mouth. What more could you want? And coming in at number 2 for both of us is the rye. Again, 100 proof. At first blush, I thought this was going to dominate the competition.
Yeah.
But that wheat whiskey totally stunned us today. I do love the sort of mixture of fruit you get here, the little cocktail
Yeah.
with the citrus and the red fruit.
And then coming in at number 3, no last places here.
No,
Just
not
number
really.
3 of what we had. Old Elk Wheated Bourbon, 92 proof, not age stated.
Yeah, bring up that proof a little bit, and it's a contender, I think,
Yeah.
here, because I actually really liked that flavor profile. I liked the dry woodiness on that wood paneling thing that I like so much. So all 3 of these solid whiskeys, we enjoyed them today, and we will continue to enjoy them.
Well, the sun is setting, so I guess we better get going.
You're all finished.
I'm all finished.
Well, from wherever we are.
To wherever you are.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Tastes even better at sunset, I think.
Join us next week when we talk about our 2024 road trip plans, the races we're signed up for this year. We'll do a review of this whiskey, Traveler Whiskey, and if you want to see us ride the rim at Crater Lake, click here.